Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayanti Nashta Praheshu Adveshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 17. The Lord travels to Vrindavan. Text 191. So the Lord has reached Mathura and he went to 24 ghats along the Yamuna in Mathura. And further it is said, Swayambhu Vishrama Dirgha Vishnu Bhuteshwara Mahavidya Gokarnadi Dekhila Vistar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited all the holy places on the banks of the Yamuna, including Swayambhu, Vishram Ghat, Dirgha, Vishnu, Bhuteshwar, Mahavidya, and Gokarna. Vana dekhi bare yadi prabhur man haila, seita brahmane prabhu sangete lai. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to see the various forests of Vrindavan, he took the Brahman with him. So there are 12 forests in Vrindavan. So that's a Dwadash one. And every one, Krishna, either with his Gopsakhas or Gopis, he would spend time there. And there are different spots in every one, every forest that are very prominent. So 12 ones are Madhuvan, Tal, Kumud, Bahulavan, Gela, Taha Taha Snan Kari, Prema Vishtahaila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the different forests, including Madhuvan, Talvan, Kumudvan, and Bahulavan. Wherever he went, he took his bath with great ecstatic. The word Vana means forest. Vrindavan is a name given to the forest where Srimati Vrinda Devi, Tulsi Devi, grows profusely. Actually, it is not a forest as we ordinarily consider a forest because it is very thick with green vegetation. There are 12 such ones in Vrindavan. Some are located on the western side of Yamuna and others are on the eastern side. The forests situated on the eastern side are Bhadravan, Belvan, Lohavan, Bhandirvan, and Mahavan. And on the western side are Madhuvan, Talvan, Kumudvan, Baulavan, Kamevan, Khadirvan, and Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is one one forest, but the whole area is also called Vrindavan. So these are the 12 forests of the Vrindavan area. Or Vrindavan, the whole area was called Braj Mandal, Braj. Pathe Gabi Ghat Chare Prabhu re dekhiya, Prabhu ke bedaye asi hunkar kariya. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Vrindavan, herds of grazing cows saw him pass and immediately surrounding him began to move very loudly. So they knew Krishna has come. Gavi dekhi stabd Prabhu preme ratarange, Vatsalya Gavi Prabhu rachate sabange. Seeing the herds approached him, the Lord was stunned with ecstatic love. The cows then began to lick his body out of great affection. Sushta haya Prabhu kare anga kandu yana, Prabhu sange chale nahi chadidhenu gana. Becoming pacified, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to caress the cows, and the cows, being unable to give up his company, went with him. Kashte shrishte dhenu sab rakhila goyana, Prabhu kantha dhvani shuni aise mrigi paan. It was only with great difficulty that the cowherd men were able to keep the cows back. Then when the Lord chanted, all the deer heard his sweet voice and approached him. Mrig mrigi mukh dekhi Prabhu anga chaate, bhai nahi kare sange yae vate vate. When the does and bucks came and saw the Lord's face, they began to lick his body. Not being at all afraid of him, they accompanied him along the path. शुक पीक भृंग प्रभु रे देखी पंचम गाय, शिखी गण नित्य करी प्रभु आगे जाए. Bumblebees and birds like the parrot and cuckoo all began to sing loudly on the fifth note, and the peacocks began to dance in front of the Lord. प्रभु देखी वृंदावन वृक्ष लता गाने, अंकुर पुलक मधु अश्रु वर्षाने. Upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the trees and creepers of Vrindavan became jubilant. The twigs stood up and they began to shed tears of ecstasy in the form of honey. So even the trees and creepers became jubilant. फूल फल भरी डाल पड़े प्रभु पाए, बंधु देखी बंधु जैन भेंट दिलाया जाए. The tree branches and creepers, overloaded with fruits and flowers, fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord and greeted him with various presentations as if they were friends. प्रभु देखी वृंदावन स्थावर जंगम, आनंदित बंधु जैन देखे बंधुगान. Thus all the moving and non-moving living entities of Vrindavan became very jubilant to see the Lord. It was as if friends were made happy by seeing another friend. तासबार प्रीति देखी प्रभु भाव वेश, सब सने क्रीड़ा करे आया तार वासे. Seeing their affection, the Lord was moved by ecstatic love. He began to sport with them exactly as a friend sports with his friends. Thus he voluntarily came under the control of his friends. प्रतिवृक्ष लता प्रभु करे न आलिंगन, पुष्प आदि ध्याने करें कृष्ण समर्पण. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to embrace each and every tree and creeper, and they began to offer their fruits and flowers as if in meditation. Ashru kampa pulak preme sharira sthire, Krishna bala bale uchchashware. The Lord's body was restless, and tears, trembling, and jubilation were manifest. He said very loudly, chant Krishna, chant Krishna. स्थावर जंगम मिली करे कृष्ण ध्वनि, प्रभुर गंभीर स्वरे येन प्रतिध्वनि. All moving and non-moving creatures then began to vibrate the transcendental sound of Hare Krishna, as if they were echoing the deep sound of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. मृगेर गलाधारी प्रभु करे नरुदान, मृगेर पुलक अंगे अश्रु नयन. The Lord then clasped the necks of the deer and began to cry. There was jubilation manifest in the bodies of the deer, and tears were in their eyes. वृक्ष डाले शुकशारी दिल दर्शन, ताहा देखी प्रभु के छु सुनीते हैलमान. When a male and female parrot appeared on the branches of a tree, the Lord saw them and wanted to hear them speak. शुक सारिका प्रभुर हाथे उड़ी पाड़े, प्रभु के सुनाया कृष्णेर गुण श्लोक पाड़े. Both parrots flew onto the hands of the Lord and began to chant the transcendental qualities of Krishna, and the Lord listened to them. Sondaryam lalanali dhairya dalanam lila rama stambhini, Viryam kandu kitadri varyam amala pare parardham guna. Sheelam sarva jananuranjanam aho yasyayam asmat prabhu. Vishwam vishwa janin kirtir avatat Krishna jagana mohana. The male parrot sang, the glorification of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beneficial to everyone in the universe. His beauty is victorious over the gopis of Vrindavan, and it subdues their patience. His pastimes astound the goddess of fortune, and his bodily strength turns Govardhan Hill into a small toy like a ball. His spotless qualities are unlimited, and his behavior satisfies everyone. Lord Krishna is attractive to everyone. Oh, may our Lord maintain the whole universe. So this verse is found in Madhya Lila. So a male parrot sang like this. शुक मुख्य शुनि तबे कृष्णेर वर्णन सारिका पढ़े तबे राधिका वर्णन. After hearing this description of Lord Krishna from the male parrot, the female parrot began to recite a description of Srimati Radharani. Shri Radhikaya Priyata Surupata Sushilata Nartan Gana Chaturi Gunali Sampata Kavita Cha Rajate Jagan Mano Mohan Chitta Mohini. The female parrot said, Srimati Radharani's affection, her exquisite beauty and good behavior, her artistic dancing and chanting, and her poetic compositions are all so attractive that they attract the mind of Krishna, who attracts the mind of everyone in the universe. So this is also found in Govinda Lila Amrit. Chitta Mohini, attractor of the mind. Puna Shuka Kahe Krishna Madana Mohana, Tabe Are Shloka Shuka Karila Patan. Thereafter the male parrot said, Krishna is the enchanter of the mind of Cupid. He then began to recite another verse. Vanshidhari Jagananari Chitta Hari Sasarike Vihari Gopa Nari Bhir Jiyana Madana Mohana. The male parrot then said, My dear Sari, female parrot, Sri Krishna carries a flute and enchants the hearts of all women throughout the universe. He is specifically the enjoyer of the beautiful gopis, and he is enchanter of the Cupid also. Let him be glorified. This is in Govindila Amrit. Puna Shari kahe shuke kari parihasa, taha shuni prabhu haila vishmay premolasa. Then the female parrot began to speak jokingly to the male parrot, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was struck with wonderful ecstatic love to hear her speak. Radha sange yada bhati tada madana mohana, anyatha vishwa moho api swayam madana mohita. The female parrot said, when Lord Shri Krishna is with Radharani, he is the enchanter of Cupid. Otherwise, when he is alone, he himself is enchanted by erotic feelings, even though he enchants the whole universe. Shukasari odi kuna gela vriksha dale, mayurera nritya prabhu dekhe kutuhale. Both parrots then flew onto a tree branch, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to watch the dancing of the peacocks with great curiosity. Mayurera kantha dekhi Prabhu Krishna smriti haila, prema veshe Mahaprabhu, bhumite padila. When the Lord saw the bluish necks of the peacocks, his remembrance of Krishna immediately awakened, and he fell to the ground in ecstatic love. Prabhure murchit dekhi seita brahman, bhattacharya sange kare prabhur santarpan. When the Brahman saw that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unconscious, he and Balbhadra Bhattacharya took care of him. Aste vyaste Mahaprabhu laya bahirvasa, jal seka kare ange vasrera vatasa. They hastily sprinkled water over the Lord's body. Then they took up his outer cloth and began to fan him with it. Prabhu karne Krishnam kahe uchukari, Chaitanya paya Prabhu yaya gadagadi. They then began to chant the holy name of Krishna into the Lord's ear. When the Lord regained consciousness, he began rolling on the ground. Kantak Durgam vane ang kshat haila. Bhattacharya bole kari prabhure sushta kai. When the Lord rolled on the ground, sharp thorns injured his body. Taking him on his lap, Balbhadra Bhattacharya pacified him. Krishna veshe prabhur preme gar gar man, bol bol kari uthi kare nanatan. The mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered in ecstatic love of Krishna. He immediately stood up and said, chant, chant. Then he himself began to dance. Bhattacharya sayi vipra, Krishna nama gaye, nachite nachite pathe, Prabhu chali jai. Being thus ordered by the Lord, both Balbhadra Bhattacharya and the Brahmin began to chant the holy names of Krishna. Then the Lord, dancing and dancing, proceeded along the path. Prabhu prema vesha dekhi Brahmana vismit, Prabhu raksha lagi vipra haila chinti. The Brahman was astounded to see the symptoms of ecstatic love exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He then became anxious to give the Lord protection. Nila chale chela jaiche prema veshamana Vrindavan jaite pathe haila shatuguna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind was absorbed in ecstatic love at Jagannath Puri. But when he passed along the road on the way to Vrindavan, that love increased 100 times. Sahasra guna prema bade mathura darshane, lakha guna prema bade abdamenya bivane. The Lord's ecstatic love increased 1,000 times when he visited Mathura, but increased 100,000 times. 100,000 times when he wandered in the forests of Vrindavan. Anya desha prema uchale Vrindavan name sakshat brahme ebe sei Vrindavane. Preme gar gar man ratri divase snan bhiksha di nirvaha kare na bhyase. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was elsewhere, the very name of Vrindavan was sufficient to increase his ecstatic love. Now, when he was actually traveling in the Vrindavan forest, his mind was absorbed in great ecstatic love day and night. He ate and bathed simply out of habit. Ei mata prema javat pramila bharavana ekatra likhilu sarvatra na jahe varna. Thus I have written a description of the ecstatic love Lord Chaitanya manifested in one of the places he visited while walking through the 12 forests of Vrindavan. To describe what he experienced everywhere would be impossible. Vrindavane haila prabhu riyatik premera vikara koti granthe ananta likhen tahara vistara. Lord Ananta writes millions of books elaborately describing the transformations of ecstatic love experienced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan. Tabu likhi bare nare tare ek karna uddesha karite kari digdarshan. Since Lord Ananta himself cannot describe even a fragment of these aspects, I am simply pointing out the direction. Jagat bhashila chaitanya lila pathare yar yat shakti tata pathare santare. The whole world became merged in the inundation of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One can swim in that water to the extent that he has the strength. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Jara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in the footsteps. So thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport. So Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 17th chapter, describing the Lord's traveling to Vrindavan. So we still have time, so we can start next chapter, chapter 18, Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visit to Shri Vrindavan. Vrindavane sthir chara, nandayan swavalokan, atmanam tadchatad alokad, goranga parito brahma. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled all over Vrindavan and pleased all living entities, moving and non-moving, with his glances. The Lord took much personal pleasure in seeing everyone. This way, Lord Gauranga traveled in Vrindavan. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Gaura Chandra, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Prabhu. And all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, headed by Srivas Thakur. Ei mata Mahaprabhu nachite nachite, arite grame asi vahe aila chambite. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in ecstasy, but when he arrived at Aritagram, his sense perception was awakened. So Aritagram is also called Arishtagram. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that in that village, Arishtasur had been killed by Sri Krishna. While there, he inquired about Radha Kund, but no one could tell him where it was. So earlier it was called Arishtagram or Aritagram, but later it was named Radha Kund. That place, the whole gaon is named Radha Kund. The Brahman accompanying him could also not ascertain its whereabouts. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could then understand that the holy places known as Radhakund and Shyamkund were at that time lost to everyone's vision. So, we studied in Bhagavatam that how Krishna manifested Radhakund and Shyamkund, and how Radharani and the gopis, they dug out little area which is called Kangan Kund, because they dug it out by their bangles. And then Radharani, all the gopis were bringing water from Manasi Ganga to fill up that kund. But then all the tirthas which were in the Shyamkund, they prayed to Radharani to give them place in Radhakund. So Radharani agreed. Now, this Radhakund, Shyamkund were there when Radha and Krishna were there performing their pastimes. And when they unmanifested their pastimes, so Radhakund, Shyamkund, which are also non-different from Krishna and Radharani, they also kind of unmanifested because of separation. All these kundas, Giriraji, all the holy places, they are part of the spiritual world. They're all conscious. So they were in separation. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, so he discovered where Radhakund Shyamkund. Now, going by this pastime, now if we remember, I believe it was Vijayadashmi when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Jagannath Puri. And he came all the way to Vrindavan. So, when in Kartik we celebrate Bahulashtami. Bahulashtami, when the appearance of Radhakund, actually appearance day of both Radhakund and Shyamkund. But in another book, Jiva Goswami has written, the original manifestation of Radhakund Shyamkund, when Krishna killed Arishtasur and all that pastime happened, Bhagavatam. So that did not happen in Kartik. That happened in sometime in June or July. So, that day will come. I'll tell you when that day comes in the calendar. So actually, Radhakund Shyamkund appeared at that time, but in Kartik, Mahaprabhu rediscovered them. So that's why we celebrate this discovery in the month of Kartik. Bahulashtami. So Ashtami means 8th day of Kartik. So we can celebrate twice actually. Brajvasis celebrated 2 times. The original manifestation and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered them. So it is said, Mahaprabhu could understand that the holy places known as Radhakund, Shyamkund were at that time lost to everyone's vision. He therefore discovered Radhakund and Shyamkund, which were 2 reservoirs of water in 2 paddy fields. Although there was very little water, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was omniscient and could understand that formerly these 2 ponds were called Sri Radhakund and Shyamkund. In this way, Radhakund and Shyamkund were discovered. And then later on, Raghunath Das Goswami, after Mahaprabhu unmanifested his pastimes, Raghunath Das Goswami came from Jagannath Puri to this place, Radhakund. First, he came to Govardhan, he wanted to commit suicide, jumping from top of Govardhan. But Rupa and Sanatan Goswami forbade him. He said, no, we cannot do that. Just stay here. Do your bhajan, tell us about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because of his narrations, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he used to live there and he wrote this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So later on, Raghunath Das Goswami was staying at the banks of Radhakund. His bhajan kutir is also there and his samadhi is there at Shyamkund. So he expanded, he made them bigger because he knew in the future many devotees are going to come. So they would need a bigger kund to sit around, do their bhajan, do their sadhana, do their meditation. So he made them bigger. And that land of Radhakund and Shyamkund, he bought it, but now we know Raghunath Das Goswami was very, very rich. His father's earning was 1 lakh rupees or gold coins per month. But here, I mean, he did not carry any money. He was very, very poor. But actually, one wealthy merchant had gone to Badrinath to give a donation, to donate some money over there. But Badrinath ji came in his dream at night. He said, no, go to Radhakund. Go to Govardhan and Radhakund, then there is a sadhu named Raghunath Das Goswami. You give this money to him. So the merchant came to Govardhan and he looked for Raghunath Das Goswami. And he said, this is the money Badrinath has sent for you. Whatever project you want to do. So then Raghunath Das Goswami understood, yes, Radharani, Krishna, they want me to take up this project. Earlier, he didn't want to do it. He had the realization he should make the kundas bigger, but he didn't want to get into this. But when he got the money, he bought the land. The land is still registered in the name of Jiva Goswami, actually. And he made them bigger. So when they were excavating around Radhakund, it was nice, square kund. But when he was going to excavate around Shyamkund, there's a bathing ghat, Manas Pavan Ghat over there. Pandavas are there, meditating in the form of tree. So they came in the dream of Raghunath Das Goswami. Please don't cut us. I mean, we know you're going to excavate and we are sitting here in the form of trees, two creepers. So Raghunath Das Goswami agreed. And there are other sadhus also in different forms, meditating around Shyamkund. So that is why when he excavated Shyamkund, it's not square just like Radhakund is. It's very zigzag. So Brajvasis say, well, our Radharani is very sweet and straightforward, that's why her kund is also straight. Krishna is all crooked, bent in 3 places, so his kund is also like that. But this is how they express their love for Krishna. Anyway, this is how Shyamkund and Radhakund, in the present form, came into existence. So we'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you for a nice class, especially the parrot verses.
Yeah, the special parrots.
Yes, very sweet. Nice class.
Yeah, thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Jai
Prabhuji.
Srila
Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Jai Krishna.